This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This November, BetterHelp is encouraging everyone to reach out, check on friends, reconnect with loved ones, and remind the people in your life that you're there. Just as it can take a little courage to send that message or grab coffee with someone you haven't seen in a while, reaching out for therapy can feel difficult too, but it's worth it. I know for sure and firsthand, this season isn't easy for everyone. And it's so important to stay connected. If you find yourself struggling in this season, BetterHelp is a great option. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. It's very simple, which I love. You complete a short questionnaire that helps you identify your needs and preferences. And because BetterHelp has over 12 years of experience and an industry-leading match fulfillment rate, they typically pair you with a perfect therapist for you the first time. But if you aren't happy with your match, you can switch to a different therapist at any time. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to find a good therapist. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take the first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/ratchet. That's better, HELP.com/ratchet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. We start this episode with ungood news, unfortunate. I'm recording on Tuesday around 2 p.m. About an hour ago, a Category 5 hurricane going 185 miles per hour hit the island of Jamaica. I am absolutely terrified for the people of Jamaica, those at home and those abroad. I was in the Caribbean earlier this year. I was in St. Thomas, St. John, Tortola. There's another one, Virgin Gorda. I was just bouncing around, my birthday trip. And they had a really bad, I don't even know if it was a hurricane. I think it was a cyclone. And it's been about 8 years. You can still see in parts of that island, in St. Thomas specifically, and Tortola, that's where I spent most of my time. You could see remnants of the destruction of Irma. Houses on quote unquote the good side of town that were all boarded up. Or in the case of Tortola, you see a house with the roof that had caved in. Also, one of the docks where they keep the boats, you could still see where the boats had been knocked up against each other, all twisted around, and people just left their boats. So, as my driver explained to me, took the insurance money and never fixed their boats and never also came to get their boats. So the boats were still fucked up sitting at the dock 8 years later. Also, my driver in Tortola, I can't remember if his name was Lucas or his last name was Lucas. We connected over that. And he kind of like looked like my people. But I was asking him about some of the houses that I'd seen that had been destroyed. I had thought it had been like no more than 3 years. But he was telling me about just the destruction. And he didn't leave. His grandmother didn't want to go. She said she survived some other hurricane like 50 years ago and she was fine. So she wasn't leaving her house. And he was like, I mean, I thought we should have left. I can't leave my grandma. So he stayed. This is 7 years later. This is a grown ass man telling me this story. And his voice is cracking and tears well up in his eyes, talking about sitting up in the house. And he was like 10 a.m., but it's pitch black outside. And he was like, just the howling, the howling. And he said something like the devil was trying to call us home. I wish I had written it down. Caribbean folk, and it changes from island to island. Every island has their own identity. They just got a unique way of turning a phrase. But I think he said the devil was calling us home. Just the way he said it, and just the look on his face when he said it, I was just like, my God, this man is still traumatized by this hurricane 7 years ago. And he said the worst part of it, we've been through storms and hurricanes before. Like everybody knows how it goes. So he was like, it hits. And then, you get to the eye of the storm and it's beautiful again. And it gives you like a false hope, like the worst of it is over. It's like, nah, you still got to catch the tail end. And he was like, and that's always worse. I hate that Jamaica is experiencing this. They're predicting it to be the worst hurricane to ever hit the island. I've been in so many places just after natural disasters. I was in Haiti like a year after that big earthquake in 2010 and just the devastation. Even a year later, like there had been cleanup, but so much of Port-au-Prince had just been leveled, reduced to rubble. When I was there, I guess the equivalent of their White House or their Capitol had collapsed. Like the dome was tilted over into the rest of the structure. Like imagine like our Capitol, like the DC Capitol, and like the whole dome is just tilted into the building. Like it was crazy. And then the tents everywhere. People didn't have reliable shelter. And that was like a year out. Like I just, thoughts and prayers just seem so trite. Not necessarily the prayers, but prayers, love, hope. We'll figure it out. But I just feel really, really bad for Jamaica. It's one of my favorite places. I don't get to go there as often as I'd like to. Between the actual island of Jamaica and the sons and daughters that are all across Brooklyn and all across London too. Jamaica has been good to me. I mean, not even gonna say that. Jamaica has been good to me, full stop. I feel awful for what the country is encountering. As promised last week, I did do the merch drop, the restock for Ratchet and Respectable. There's still plenty of items on the site. I think the only thing that's sold out is the logo sweatshirts, the ones with my face on it. But there's plenty of sweatshirts and hoodies with like this, the signature Ratchet and Respectable. Not a lot of redacted. There are a few of those, but Shut the Fuck Up is free. Well nourished, well fed. What's the other one? Cut the Check. Merch on the site, DemetriaLLucas.com, 2 L's. Merch is available in like a bunch of sizes. It's not just the super small or the super large sizes. We are not doing a holiday launch. I used to do a Black Friday launch for a couple years. I'm leaving the country in like 3 weeks. So our next merch launch is in April. In personal news, Penny is going well. The kitchen is almost done to the point that the appliances have been put back in. I'm going up in a couple weeks. I was supposed to go this past weekend, but I was exhausted from the shipping, so I didn't. But I'm going up in a couple weeks because I want to see Penny again before I head out. It'll be like 2 months of work since I've seen her. But this last batch of pictures that I saw, the place is really starting to come together. I'm very, very excited to see it in person, one, but to also move in. I told you, I think before, like I was supposed to go overseas. I was going to stay for 5 months, but I decided to come back and forth instead because I want to move into my house. Like I really want to be able to celebrate, if not Christmas, New Year's Eve in my place. Allegedly, I can see the fireworks over Manhattan from my window, which I said this online. And a bunch of my friends was like, oh, so you're hosting the New Year's Eve party? And I was like, I said nothing about this. I literally have no furniture. I mean, I have the furniture from my loft when I was in LA that's been in my parents' basement for like the last 3 years. But like that was for a studio. I mean, it was a loft, but it was like one big space. This place is double the size of my last loft. I have a couch. Do I have a chair? Like for my office? And like we were 20 something, everybody can stand up all night. All my friends are my age. Oh, and Penny has 2 working bathrooms again. Like this has not been the case since like, I don't know, sometime in July, maybe early August. But yes, 2 working bathrooms and they look really beautiful. It's really coming together very nicely. They're finishing the tile in one of the bathrooms. They're hanging the mirror and the light fixtures in another one. I hope when I go up in a couple weeks, I'll be able to take like some art and some knickknacks and just, I don't know, just a couple things to like make my house feel like a home. I bought this house in May. I stayed in it 4 nights in June, early July, whenever we got the Diddy verdict. I haven't actually stayed in the condo that I own since then. It's coming together. My designer is doing an excellent job. It's just, it's a process. I thought it would take 2 months, and I was like, worst case scenario, I'll be moved in by September. It's November 1st. What, Saturday? Yeah, not gonna happen. Won't be December 1st either. Once we get the bathroom and the kitchen, they still got to do the floors. Still needs to be painted. There's still the issue of my bedroom closet. Enough about me. What is going on in the world? Michelle Obama is giving us a new book, which I was going to talk about this one way or another because, like, I'm deeply obsessed with Michelle Obama. Literally, the first episode of Ratchet and Respectable was a review of Michelle Obama's first book. So this new book is called The Look. It's about the fashion of the First Lady. Look, I was going to buy this book because it's Michelle Obama and I love all things Michelle Obama. And sometimes I just like to pretend that the Obamas are still our first family and everything is normal and decent and logical. again, safe again. I hope that this book, and it seems like it from this interview I just read, we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. It seems like this book is going to talk about the meaning of her fashion. It's more than I put on an outfit and I went outside. Her choices, just from the outside looking in, you can tell they were trying to convey something. Michelle Obama, especially during the election, detractors, haters, bigots, racists, depicted her as angry and masculine. Remember, there was a cover, I want to say, of New York Magazine. She was depicted as a terrorist. All the worst stereotypes, you know what they are, of Black women. And there is still a subset of people who refer to her as Mike, can insist that she is a man. A good portion of her husband's first presidency, Michelle Obama is walking around in these June Cleaver A-line dresses with a sweater and then a belt at her waist, walking around in kitten heels and flats. It was a very intentional, traditional wife so as not to threaten people's ideas about not even primarily her, but her husband. And women sometimes are too, quote unquote, too. We'll talk about this when it comes to Meg the Stallion, too. But too strong or too outspoken, people will say that, oh, your husband is a simp. I don't know if they were using that word at the time, but they would say that, oh, she's the one who's wearing the pants. They would kind of use her strength to emasculate her husband. So she ends up doing her best June Cleaver routine. She gets a chance to be a little more of herself during her husband's second term, only because they're not up for reelection. But she's still very much playing a role. And it's very clear because the Michelle Obama, like physically, the way she looks, the way she dresses, the Michelle Obama we saw in the White House is very different from the Michelle Obama we saw like immediately after she got out the White House. This woman loves some avant-garde fashion. She loves a gold knee-high boot. She loves a whole bunch of pattern and design. She don't like her hair straight. Maybe like a week and change ago, she was out to dinner with Barack and her hair was straight again. We hadn't seen Michelle Obama with straight hair in a very long time. And the first thing I thought, and I said, what they about to promote? Because she's giving FLOTUS again as opposed to Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama from the South Side. And lo and behold, this week, she started heavily promoting this new book. She stays with some braids. She also likes booty shorts and she likes really high heels. None of these things we knew about Michelle Obama when she was actually in office. Like we got a glimpse. I want to say there was like a gold Versace dress at one of the state dinners and we were like, hey, 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 hey. She's on the cover of People magazine. She's got her bob back. She's giving us FLOTUS hair, but she's giving us Michelle Obama outfit. She has on the strapless top. It looks like it's made out of ties or something and like some loose jeans. And I was like, okay, girl, it's very on brand for her particular style. And the cover story, this is one of the reasons I'm so excited about it, is written by our cousin Janine Rubenstein. We talk about Janine all the time on here because often when we talk about a Black person who's on the cover of People magazine, Janine wrote the cover story. Janine has been a wonderful supporter of Ratchet and Respectable, like early on. She went on Tamron Hall once. They asked her for her list of favorite podcasts, and Janine mentioned Ratchet and Respectable, gave us a really big boost in the early years of the show. Janine is also my baby from back in Essence days. But Janine wrote this wonderful cover story on Michelle Obama that gave us a great insight into what's going on with FLOTUS. The article notes that it's been almost a decade since Michelle Obama left the White House. She says at this moment, I think she's 60, is she 61? She's over 60. And she says at this point in her life that she is more confident about who she is than she's ever been before. She's 61. Janine was on set with Mrs. Obama for the cover shoot. And she notes that Michelle Obama was listening to Glorilla, Beyonce, and Cardi B. She tickles me. She tickles me so. Let's see. The Look. It's a new coffee table book. It's out November 4th, so next week. And it's co-written with Mrs. Obama's longtime stylist. And it chronicles how the wife of the first Black president meticulously dressed for the job and all the celebration and relentless scrutiny that came with that. And Mrs. Obama says, quote, I purposefully did not talk about fashion and beauty during the 8 years in the White House. I was afraid it was going to take over everything, which Even though she didn't talk about fashion, I would have sworn that she did. The way that her fashion was talked about, I think she wore a dress with bare arms to the State of the Union, and, like, you would have thought, I don't know, that she, like, demoed the East Wing of the White House. Like, people went crazy. She says at 61, this is the first time in her life where every decision that she makes is just for me. She notes that her girls, Malia is 27. Oh my God, I feel old. Malia is 27, and Sasha, I feel like I'm picturing Sasha when she was on stage with her dad. I think they were all dressed in red the night that Obama won and he came out in Chicago to give the speech. Like, that is the vision of Sasha that I have in my head. Sasha is 24? Oh my gosh. She said everybody's out the house so she could just focus on herself. So Janine asked her, they said, well, okay, this is a book about style. Where did you get your first sense of beauty and style? Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama. She said, Soul Train. She said that was Sunday morning viewing in the Robinson household. As a little girl, I would just marvel not only at the moves and being able to see your favorite artist, but the way the women dress, just the color, the style, the flair. I thought that's what cool is. She talks about 80s fashion when she met her husband. They met working at a law firm. She said corporate law had a uniform, very, very shouldered suit, a feminine blouse, pantyhose, which I hated. She said, I don't know what Barack saw. She's like, I'm describing it. That doesn't sound very sexy. It was the 80s. He liked something. Janine asked Mrs. Obama about her fashion in the White House. This is what I was talking about before. She said, I felt that I had to make sure that people could see my feminine side, especially early on in the campaign when I was being attacked as being angry, a shrew, demeaning my husband. All these labels were coming in on me and were essentially trying to rob me of my femininity. She says, I took the role as First Lady very seriously. I was a famous person, but I wasn't a starlet. And so that meant the clothes could never speak louder than anything I had to say. This is a really good article. I'm not going to read you the whole thing because I want you to go read Janine's article on People. Oh, this one last little bit. Janine asked Mrs. Obama, she said, your style choices had a major impact. She said, stuff you would wear would sell out in minutes. How did that feel? She says, I like the fact that in hindsight, people identified with what I was wearing. Because if I wore something and I could sell it out, that meant that most women could afford to buy it. She said, I wanted the people of America, all people of all races, of all political persuasions, to be able to connect with me. Look at that. Behold, a leader who leads all the people and doesn't hate half of the country. Behold. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This November, BetterHelp is encouraging everyone to reach out, check on friends, reconnect with loved ones, and remind the people in your life that you're there. Just as it can take a little courage to send that message or grab coffee with someone you haven't seen in a while, reaching out for therapy can feel difficult too, but it's worth it. I know for sure and firsthand, this season isn't easy for everyone. And it's so important to stay connected. If you find yourself struggling in this season, BetterHelp is a great option. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. It's very simple, which I love. You complete a short questionnaire that helps you identify your needs and preferences. And because BetterHelp has over 12 years of experience and an industry-leading match fulfillment rate, they typically pair you with a perfect therapist for you the first time. But if you aren't happy with your match, you can switch to a different therapist at any time. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to find a good therapist. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take the first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/ratchet. That's better, HELP.com/ratchet. There's something else coming up. November 4th. Why am I thinking about this? Oh, November 2nd. This New York mayor election. I clearly do not live in New York. I'm still wholly invested in New York politics, particularly this mayoral election. If I lived in New York, I would be voting for Zohran Mamdani. One of the reasons I would be voting for him, aside from like, I hate Cuomo and the Republican guy is just not an option. I love how MAGA and even old guard Democrats are so completely threatened by him. I love that he gets people so riled up and has not lost his wits about him. Mainstream press is doing a full court press right now to discredit him, and it's over the dumbest of shit. Like today's news story was they're accusing him of being a liar because at one point he said after 9/11 he had an aunt who was afraid to wear her hijab in public and she stopped taking the subway because she was afraid. Somebody, I don't know if it was mainstream media, independent press, whatever. Somebody was trying to figure out like who exactly was this aunt that said that. Like they couldn't find somebody that would fit whatever description he gave. So they finally went back to him and asked. They said, "Well, who is exactly is this aunt? Because you mentioned this aunt and you said blah blah blah." Like they were trying to pull a gotcha. And he was like, "Oh, it's my father's cousin. She passed away a few years ago." So now, like, the big news story is Mamdani lied about aunt fear of riding subway. Like, he can't be trusted because blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, like, okay, so he calls his father's cousin, who I'm going to go ahead and assume is around his father's age. He calls her aunt so-and-so instead of cousin because she's a woman of a certain age. She going to be like his daddy's age and he just going to call her by her first name? Like, huh? Called your father's cousin aunt so and so. Okay, sure. The idea that it can't even say black people because he ain't black. People of color. And I think this is also like a Southern thing. I was reading about this online. Some Irish people chimed in and was like, yeah, we do this too. I would say like the majority of the world refers to people who are respected elders in their community as aunt or uncle. So like in this case, it's his father's cousin, which completely makes sense to me. I have people in like my family village that I refer to as Aunt Rosie. Aunt Rosie is not related to me. Aunt Rosie and my father went to college together. Aunt Rosie's daughters used to babysit me. I refer to them as my cousins. I am not blood related to these people. They are no less my aunt and cousins than people I actually am blood related to. There is a subsect of white people who are very confused that black and brown and Irish and Southern white people apparently are all referring to people who are not the sister of one of their parents as auntie. We live in like two entirely different worlds. I've said that on several recent episodes. It just is baffling to me how little they know about other people's culture and very basic things that are widespread about multiple cultures. Just have no fucking clue. They're also on the soon to be mayor's ass. His birthday was October 18th. And somewhere around October 22nd, these news reports popped up about him going to a fancy dinner. Apparently, he went to a restaurant that offers an $140 tasting menu. And they're saying that, he's out here trying to promote himself as a man of the people and he relates to like degular New Yorkers, but he's going to dinner and it's $140 a person. And I was like, do you know what city you're reporting from? Like, one, I've never seen a report of what he actually ate for dinner. He went to a restaurant that offers an $140 tasting menu. Because the restaurant offers a $140 tasting menu doesn't mean you actually had the $140 tasting menu. I went and looked up the restaurant. I went and looked at the menu of the restaurant. There's a range of options that are not an $140 tasting menu. Also, additionally, too, if he wanted to spend $140 on a tasting menu, I don't care. Was it the money stolen from the people of New York, as was alleged by the current mayor of New York City in a federal indictment? We read the lawsuit on here. That man was scamming the fuck out of the city of New York. Did Mamdani scam for the money? Then I don't care. In the process of ordering this food, did he sexually harass anyone like his biggest contender, Cuomo, for mayor? Was anyone sexually harassed? Was anyone groped? Did an independent investigation find the allegations of sexual harassment by 12 women credible? It happened to Cuomo. Has it happened to Mamdani? Did anyone get sexually harassed at dinner? Then I don't care how much he spent on it. He and his wife went to dinner. The reports came out 4 days after his birthday. The man likely went to celebrate his birthday. And if it was a regular dinner, I still don't care. The New York Post, the cover of the Post, was a picture of Mamdani dressed as a baby. He just turned 34. And so his opponent, Cuomo, his biggest talking point is like, he has no experience. He has no experience. He has no experience. He said, Cuomo keeps talking about how New York has all these problems and it's been neglected and people haven't been doing what they were supposed to do. And we need someone with all this experience in charge. It's like he forgets that before he was forced to resign due to sexual harassment, that he was the governor and he was in charge. No, I don't want that experience. I want a new experience. I love him. Cuomo put out this, he put up and then deleted, which I was like, same difference. Like, you put it out because you wanted to be seen. His campaign put out this very racist AI video. It was a depiction of people who support Mamdani. One of them was like a pimp from the 70s. Like, they literally had a black man in like a Superfly pimp outfit who had a van full of white women. And I was like, oh my God. Another man, a black man, was like stealing from a store. And I was like, who approved this? They had this like drunk lady that I think was supposed to be like a Hillary Clinton stand-in, like driving. And I was like, yo. People are so incredibly threatened by him, and I absolutely love it. The only thing I don't like about it is he's pro congestion pricing, which I was like, bruh, I should not have to pay all this money to drive into the city. Like, are you serious right now? He is. Other than congestion pricing, I think I agree with him on like everything else. Like, the rent is too damn high, and buses do need to be free, and groceries do need to be cheaper. These are legitimate things that help all New Yorkers. I am rooting for him. We'll see what happens. Early voting is underway. We'll see what happens on November 2nd. I watched House of Dynamite on Netflix last week, and I'm mad at myself for doing it. This time I can't get back. I actually watched it twice. Hear me out. I had no idea about this movie. I follow Idris Elba on socials. Idris Elba said, I'm in a new movie. Go watch it. I quickly deduced that Idris Elba was the black president. And I was like, oh, sure. Okay. It looked kind of like a mix between Paradise and what's the movie? There's another movie. Angela Bassett was in it. London Has Fallen. I love a good shoot 'em up movie. I love a good political drama. Was like, oh, I'm all in. I started watching. The first 40 minutes was good. It's like, I'm not going to give the plot away. It's all build up and then nothing happens. There is a threatening event and it's told from 3 different perspectives. And then like the event that is predicted to occur, you never get the payoff. And I was like, hey, I just watched like 2 hours of this. I need to see something blown up, something shot up, something. I need to see something. I need some sort of like action. Like, it's just like it's like a political thriller that makes you think it's an action film, but it's not an action film. I don't know if I necessarily think it's a bad movie versus I think it's a movie that was perhaps not marketed well. Because if you market a movie like it's an action flick, then I'm tuning in because I want to see some shit blow up. I want to see some amazing CGI. And that doesn't happen here. It's like you keep talking about the event and we never get to see the event. Like, so I watched it, and I watched it in the middle of the night, and I was like, you know what? I was really tired. Maybe I missed some things. I was also doing something else. So I wasn't like fully tuned in. So I was like, maybe I wasn't all in because I saw tons of people who were like, oh, it's really good. It's one of like the best movies I've seen in years. Like, it really makes you think and, just think about what if that happened with the current presidency and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I wasn't that invested enough to think about, oh, what if this was real life? So I was like, well, let me watch it again because there were people who I really like respect their opinions who were like really raving about it. So I wasted another 2 hours of my life. I watched it again and I was like, okay, I like it better the second time around. I acknowledge that the telling of the story from 3 different perspectives is a good way to tell the story. It's a good story. It just kind of like part 1 is great. And then like, boom, part 2 is great. And then it's like they left off part 3. And I saw somebody online today, I don't know if this is true or not, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be a sequel." And I was like, "No, I don't want part 3 and a sequel. Give me part 1, part 2, part 3, and a denouement. Like, let me have, like, a whole story at once and then give me a new story. London has fallen, Olympus has fallen, Angel has fallen, Paradise. There's more story to be told, but there is a complete story told in those movies. Literally, I watched this whole thing and then like the credits started rolling and I was sitting there waiting for like the next episode. Maybe they just gave us 2 episodes at once because I thought it was a film, but clearly it's a mini series. And then like that was it. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Waste of time. Even for Idris Elba is like the black president and with the black wife. Like I just still cannot recommend. Did not love. I watched Reasonable Doubt. It's solid this season. I don't think it doesn't have enough Morris Chestnut for me, and there's no Michael Ealy. It's still a good story. I'm very invested. I watched Thursday at midnight. I watched each episode several times because I like the characters and I'm invested. And like the new guy is like really cute. The guy that's on trial, like his jawline and his mouth are immaculate. He's not on screen enough. I need Jax to have, this sounds so bad. I need Jax to have like chemistry with another man that is not her husband. Also, I was flipping through my phone the other day. I was looking for something else and I came across some screenshot, the things I remember to screenshot. Lori Harvey, it was supposed to be in this season of Reasonable Doubt. I very clearly have an article announcing Lori Harvey for season 3. And I don't know, we on episode 6. I ain't seen no parts of a Lori Harvey. It's good. There's a lot going on, but not enough for me to get like riled up and do an actual recap of an episode. I'm watching though. Last week, I talked about the Kim Kardashian show, the Ryan Murphy one coming out next month. And I was like, why is Kim in the middle of all the photos? And a couple of y'all wrote in. It was like, because Kim is the executive producer on the show and Ryan Murphy wrote the show for Kim Kardashian and she's number 1 on the call sheet. So the whole thing about like, you could do like a little Kim, some Kim, but not all Kim. You about to do a bunch of Kim. And I was like, oh, she was in, didn't Tyler Perry put her in a movie? I hope that her acting skills have improved since that time. Because it's a Ryan Murphy production, and I told y'all before how much I love Ryan Murphy Productions, I will give the first episode a watch, and I will form my opinions from there. But upon learning that this show is largely a vehicle for Kim Kardashian, I have lost mostly all interest. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm interested in everybody else who's on the cast. I just don't have real interest in watching Kim. I don't. I think I have Kardashian fatigue. Although I was on the site the other day. She has like the Nike Skims thing, and it's like the same deal or similar deal, similar setup at least. Is like Jordan has with Nike, like it's her specific own thing. It's not just like a one-off, like it's a moving forward thing. She has this really cute like double sports bra that I really want, but I was like, I don't want to like support Kim Kardashian. I'm like, you have $1 billion. Like, does anybody else have a double bra who doesn't already have $1 billion and I would like to support them? Like, I would like to do that. Like a black girl with a double bra. I'm not into it because it's Nike or because it's Skims. I just actually like the bra. Like, I think it's cute. I want to like wear it when I work out. Like, that's all. These are the things that motivate me to get to the gym. Like, cute gym wear is one of those things. I'm not pretending I'm not shallow. Last but not least, we need to talk about Megan, cousin Megan. Actually, no, cousin Megan is Meghan Markle. Niece Megan is Megan Pete, Meg the Stallion. Megan has released a new video, Lover Girl. Is that the name of it? It is. Megan, I love it. It's a whole bunch of ass shaking. Just it's ass, 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 to quote Big Sean. Somebody online was like, oh, this is like Bob Fosse level choreography. And I was like, yes, I get it. I get it. Megan is wonderfully shaped. And she found a bunch of dancers who are also wonderfully shaped. And these wonderfully shaped women put on thongs and just decided to shake their ass as hard as they possibly could. It actually reminds me, just in terms of the amount of ass shaking, not in terms of like the artisticness of like 2 Live Crew Uncle Luke videos at pool parties where it was just like a bunch of women in thongs with natural ass shaking it around. And I was like, we ain't seen this much natural ass in a really long time. It was nice to see natural ass. I love Meg the Stallion. I liked her before the documentary. After the documentary, I was like, I love you. I will come and like auntie you. You need some guidance. You need some love. Like, I don't have all the answers, but you're all of 30. I can help. You need help? I'm happy to help. The video, a lot of people love it. The song, not so much. I think this is valid. A lot of people were like, she could rap way better than this. The first verse, cool, but the second verse was, is it a verse? It was basically like, pop your pussy for your man, pop your pussy for your man. And I was like, I mean, it's not, enlightened per se, but it's a clear message. Megan is dating NBA player Klay Thompson. He's a really big deal. He's won several championships. He makes a whole bunch of money. He is like one of the NBA versions of like a Russell, if you will. He's an upstanding guy, no drama, no trouble. People really like this guy. They think he's like what Hoteps or followers of the deceased cult leader would call high value. Megan has been dating him. I'm not sure for how long. Maybe like 6 months or so. They're in a very public relationship. The first verse of the song is basically, I mean, not even basically, because the chorus is my man, my man, my man, my baby, my baby, my baby, spoiling me, dicking me down, driving me crazy. Meg is gone. Meg is gone. Remember when Hallie was like, no, not Hallie, Chloe. Remember when Chloe was gallivanting around with Burner Boy and I was like, oh, he knocking the Mario coins. Yeah, we have another Mario coin situation on our hands. Niece Meg is gone off this man, which I'm actually fine with. Burner Boy, I was like, girl, that's a good time. You need to get out of there quick. This Clay fella seems like a nice guy. Meg is loud. She's bright. She's bold. She's all over the place. She's sticking out her tongue. Clay presents, because we don't know this man. He presents as very conservative. What people present as publicly and what they are privately can be two different things. We don't actually know these people. There's a theory floating around. They're like, you know what? Meg talks all that shit. But like people who talk big shit usually be like the quiet church girl type. Like you might get a little freaky for like your man or something, but just be out here in the way that she describes in her music. They're like, it's giving persona. It's not giving like real life freak. No problem. So Meg makes this video of all this ass shaking. I mentioned the first verse in the chorus for a reason because she's going on and on. My man, my man, my man, my man, my man. People are angry at this video, men and women, perhaps for two different reasons. But people are angry at this video because they're like, hey, she's dating this upstanding guy. She's in a very public relationship. Her making this video with her ass clapping all over the place is hella disrespectful to her man. She should be more conservative. She should act like a girlfriend. She should act like she's in a relationship. She should look like she's in a relationship. She shouldn't be out here shaking her ass, letting all these other men ogle her when she's in a relationship. To which I'm like, he knew who she was when he met her. Meg been out here with her ass out, talking her big shit, shaking her ass, showing her ass, talking shit about her ass and other body parts, as long as we publicly known her as an artist. He knew just like you knew. He knew what he was signing up for. Why would she change? Additionally, this is her persona. And if you watched her documentary, you know very clearly it's a persona. Meg in her off hours is like really silly and kind of nerdy, and it's actually like very adorable. So like you think that this woman should change her whole brand. She should gamble with her livelihood by completely changing like the brand that has got her to the point where she is, where she's winning awards, where she's doing these big shows, where she's making all this money that pays her bills, like where she's pursuing her big dream because she's in a relationship, because she's somebody's girlfriend, not even wife, which I still wouldn't advocate for, but at least that's something like, okay, we're locking in for life because she's somebody's girlfriend. She should throw away her whole brand. That don't sound stupid to y'all? It should. I like Meg the Stallion for exactly the things that Meg the Stallion represents. I like her shit talking. I like her little outfits. I like all her hair. I like the ass shaking. If Megan P showed up dressed like Duchess Megan, I'd be like, why? If it's an award show, fine. But a performance, I want to see Megan perform. Her brand is baddie. Her brand is hot girl. I don't want to see her in her performance life dressed like a 40-year-old mother of two. Why? Clay knew who she is. Clay know what she dressed like. Clay know how she clap her ass. Clay know how she talk her shit. Why would she change this? It's another subset of people very upset. Megan has sent them over the edge. It's similar to the way that some men, get sent over the edge about Sierra. Very upset about Sierra because they're like, she's dating this amazing guy. He's a nice guy. He's a Christian guy, and she's like Future's baby mama. She's been ran through. Never mind the fact that like Future was her whole fiance. Like he wasn't just like some random one nighter or whatever. Blah blah blah. But like, okay, she's bringing a child into this relationship. He doesn't have a child. He is married and divorced. He had lived some life. For people who think of divorced folks with baggage, then he showed up with some too. But somehow Sierra, even after all these years, like they done created 3 new humans, people still shit on Sierra and think she's unworthy of him. And God forbid Sierra, a whole dancer, actually dance, be a little seductive, show a little leg. It's like, oh my God, the sky has fallen. What kind of wife acts like this? What kind of mother acts like this? Oh, Russell, how could he? Russell, poor Russell, poor Russell, poor Russell. Russell is a grown ass man in his 30s, as is Clay. This hasn't stopped people from treating them like small children. Megan's corrupting him. Corrupting who? That grown ass man? That man is 35 years old. He is a seasoned veteran in the NBA. You act like that man ain't never lived no life. Like he's a rookie, like just straight out of high school. Not even like he went to college. Like he wants some Kobe type is. Like he just showing up wide eyed, bright eyed, naive, don't know what's going on in the world. No, that's a 35-year-old man. He's lived some life. He got the good sense not to put his shit on Front Street. He's lived. He went and found Megan and is publicly holding her down because that's what he likes. I saw the picture the other day. They were doing team photograph. They had everybody out there posed like they were going to their first day of kindergarten. They had a little chalkboard where they asked people, like, what are your favorite things to do? What are your hobbies? They asked that man what his favorite food is. He said fish and spaghetti. He said he never had it before. Megan made it. He said Megan makes it for him once a week now. It's his favorite meal. He's happy. That man is happy. He is fine. But people are incensed. Why is he with her? She doesn't match him. She's all wild and crazy and she's shaking her ass and showing her boobies and she's got on these see-through shirts and she's doing these splits and she's wiggling and she's always half naked and she says these like profane things and she's always talking this shit and she's a feminist and how could she be with a man like that? Because men like women. If you are chronically online and you listen to the rhetoric that men share about women online, they don't even like the women that they describe as the ideal woman. Because basically what they describe is like a pick-me, but there's pick-me's up and down the internet and they still get on there every day talking about women ain't shit. You see all these pick-me's in your goddamn comments and you never pick them. You see them wide and clear. You never pick them. Really what you want to do is just get on the internet and talk shit about women. It's a bonding ritual among men. It's performative and it reinforces your masculinity to other men. They be saying that shit and women respond to them all riled up in their comments. And I do it too because I'm just like, what the fuck is this? They're not saying it for me. They're saying it to posture for other men. It's no different than a peacock waving its feathers. Although a peacock is usually trying to attract the opposite sex. But in this case, no. It's virtue signaling for other men. That's it. What men like is just what they like. That's it. Sometimes they like the quote unquote good girl. Sometimes they like a nerd girl. Sometimes they like a nasty girl. Sometimes they like a straight up ugly girl. They like all different sizes. They like all different personalities. They like all different heights. I'm using like a little too loosely because I actually think most men don't like women. Women that they will date, women that they will be in relationships with, even women that they will marry, doesn't necessarily mean they like them. I'm using like in the most generous form of the word to describe a man who will take up with a woman. There's an idea that a certain type of man, this quote unquote high value, whatever, only wants a woman who fits into this very narrow box of a certain size, of a certain age, of a certain disposition, submissive. She's not educated because somehow that's like a bonus now, like that your wife ain't got no degree. Like what? Nurturing, centers her man. No, no. There are many women who've been taught that there's this very narrow box of women that men are interested in, and they contort themselves trying to fit into these boxes. And it upsets their status quo when you see a woman like Meg, who you're like, but wait, she's all the things that I've been told that I should not be. I shouldn't be sexual. I shouldn't be brash. I shouldn't be loud. I shouldn't shake my ass. I shouldn't have all this extra additional hair. I shouldn't be successful. I shouldn't be educated because she does have a degree. But all these things that you told women that they should not be, now you see someone who's considered an ideal man and that's his choice. It upsets your little apple cart. And I would rather you say that and recognize how you've been lied to and then go sit with that than attack a woman who's really done nothing but like chase her dreams and be her best self and create great art. Instead of being mad at her for being herself and finding someone that values her, not despite, but because of, she's all the things that you were told that a woman shouldn't be. Don't be mad at her. Be mad at the people who lied to you. Who lied to you? Only a certain subset of people know where that quote came from. That's not the point. The point is, Megan and Clay are really, really cute together. I hope they live long and prosper for however long they make each other happy. And should a time come where they don't, then I hope they go their separate ways and find the next person that makes them happy. Because everyone you date is not meant to be your forever person. If it works, great. And if it doesn't, still great. All right. I think that's the episode. Where are we? Oh, yeah, we're good. We shall talk again maybe later this week. In the meantime, head to DemetriaLLucas.com to pick up your ratchet and respectable merch. See Some World merch is off with the printer. We'll revisit that again in April when I'm back from all the See Some World trips. I think I have 4 trips between now and April. The spring trips for 2026. We also have a round of fall trips. My life, my life, my life, my life. All right. Talk soon. Go get your merch. Bye.